just because of what I was saying about signs, right? I have to tell this story because it's another horrible thing that's just not getting sorted. When I stopped talking after Ria, right, because the Jehovah's Witnesses wouldn't give her a blood transfusion, and they kept plying me with these drugs, thioridazine, right? And my mum kept saying, it's not just to numb you down, I know you can't walk, but it's just to, it'll help you long term, you'll feel better in a few weeks. So anyway, they said, okay, let her go for cognitive behavioural therapy. Because I kept saying, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Why is everyone saying I'm so unwell? And so they let me go for CBT, and straight away, the very first time, it was like, it was my eyes were opened to something, at least. And they were just teaching me about balancing my thoughts. And anyway, they got after, it was a trial, my Dr. Wilson put me on it from when I was in Braemar Street in Battlefield. And so he says, I've got this trial for 6 months, you can go on this special thing, and not many people get chosen, blah blah. So I got on this thing, and he said, we'll come and see you throughout your whole life, every few years, to find out how it's helped you. So I was like, right, I signed up to it, I agree. So it was a nice lady, Melanie Sharp her name was, and I could only see the reflection of her face because I was used to seeing Jehovah's Witnesses. Now she was a stranger, and she was just so kind, just so kind. That's what I always remember, she was just so kind. And when I kept saying things, she would say, why are you beating on yourself? Wait, stop, you're beating on yourself, you know. She's like, take one thought at a time. And anyway, we got to the core root of my problem was that I thought if your own mum doesn't love you, then how can anyone else love you? It's just logical, that's what I thought. And she was explaining to me, well, that means you think you're unlovable. And I said, yeah. And she said, right, I want you to tell me what an unlovable person is. And I started saying things that I thought would be unlovable. And then she said, now tell me what you do every day. So I told her, and what you've done since your babies have been born. And she said, now, and we both started laughing. She said, so are you that unlovable person? I was like, no, I don't think so. So I said, how am I going to deal with my mum? Because I was told by the elders, you're not allowed to talk about Jehovah's Witnesses. You can talk about anything else but them. So the only thing I could talk about was my mum, my relationship with her and my kids. And anyway, so she basically said it, and we both agreed that it was about my mum and the way she was treating me and the way she was treating my kids. So we had planned, me and the therapist, how I was going to deal with it. I was going to write my mum a letter, and I just said so nicely, I appreciate all your help that you've given me throughout the years, but now these are my children and I want to look after them. So my mum came round and she started crying, but underneath the tears it was rage. She was so raging with me, and it was a show in front of my husband, and he wasn't buying it either because we know what she's like. But it was like a welcome. She wasn't allowed to come round and rage at me, obviously. So she came round in tears and did the rage through the tears. And I just said to her, and I don't regret it, I did for a while, but I don't. I said, I'm sorry, I don't forgive you. I just can't, I don't forgive you. I'd rather, because she's saying, I'll put it behind us, but she was saying, I will be exactly the same person I was, but I'll let you away with what you've written to me. So I said, no, I'm not forgiving you. I think it's best that we just don't see each other. And the thing that sparked it is because she said she wanted to see the 2 Pakistani children and not the 2 white children. She says, I don't know what it is about your baby Ria, I don't like her, right? Ria was only 3 months old, right? And I said, Mum, you told me to throw myself down the stairs when I was pregnant with Ollie, right? To kill myself because it was one baby too many from Shabat, from Leonie's dad. You told me to have an abortion with Leonie, the same thing, when I was pregnant. So, you know, at the end of the day, you're not really got the best interest in my children anyway. And you're phoning me up saying, I'll take the 2 older ones, I'm not taking the 2 little ones, and 2 little ones are crying. I don't want to separate my children like that. I'm not saying take all of them, but you come and visit us then. You'll see them all together. I'm not making some better than the other. I'm sorry. And so that was the issue. But anyway, I lost all support from her. And did she cause a ruckus? She started making tiaras for people in the congregation, and I was getting invited to the wedding, and I was saying, do you want me to make your tiara? And she's like, no, your mum made it. You know, things like this. And no one spoke to me at the wedding, and it was all a big show to see how she was back in control in some way. So anyway, all of a sudden my sister comes round to my door. Her gay husband has left her. he was an elder in Tennessee. She had to go over there and marry him, and she was to be a cover for him because he was gay. Anyway, fair enough. So she came back over. He's still gay. She came back over and she came up to my house and she's like, do you know what our stepdad did to us? He raped me, he molested me, he's just still doing it to this day, he won't stop touching my tits and blah blah blah. I said, listen, you know, I've obviously had bad experiences with him as well, but I was a lot more feistier than you. You were frightened of him and you used to piss the bed all the time. And they beat you for pissing the bed, so I feel more sorry for her. I would scream and shout and say fuck off. Anyway, she was so upset about it, and I took her in and literally took her into my house with my children, and me and Leonie and her went to the cinema, and while we were in the cinema, Leonie was eating sweets and she was only 4, and she made a wee noise with her mouth like, and my sister Sarah slapped her across the face, right? And I got angry. It wasn't a hard slap, but it was a slap. I said, listen, I don't even slap my daughter's face, right? I'll smack her bum. So there's no way in hell's earth I'm going to let you slap her face. So it was this kind of things that I was like, she's not well mentally, right? So I let it slide, and I thought she's going through a lot, leave it. And when we got home, she's telling me all about this stuff that Mum did, blah, blah, blah. She said, I've went round to another few Jehovah's Witnesses houses, Graham and Susan Leach, from Cathcart Congregation, and I told them what he'd done to me. And all the Jehovah's Witnesses I've told said, we're not going to hear anything about this. John and Betty are a lovely couple, and slammed the door in her face. So I had no advice for her, none. I just said, you have to